It's Coastal Gardener on the Talk Station, FM 107.1. And joining us today, we've got Sean Banks, North Carolina Cooperative Agriculture Extension Agency in Carteret County.
Right.
And with that, Sean, good afternoon to you.
Well, good afternoon.
And also joining us is Catherine Elkins with the Carteret County Local Food Network. And with that, Catherine, likewise, welcome. Thanks for joining us.
I'm glad to be here. Thanks, Lachlan.
Well, the portion of the program today is to focus on the 10% campaign, something I heard about last week from Sean.
Right.
So, Sean, if you will, bring us up to date on what the 10% campaign is all about.
Well, the 10% campaign is a way for people to pledge 10% of their food budget on purchasing local food, whether that's produce or meat or fish or whatever. They get that opportunity of pledging that. It's also an opportunity for local businesses to pledge that they will purchase 10% of what they purchase to make, like restaurants. 10% of that would come from local vendors.
Okay, and we've included Catherine Elkins in the program today to talk about this in relationship to the Carteret Local Food Network. And so, Catherine, how about taking a moment, if you will, and a little shameless self-promotion. Tell us something about the Carteret Local Food Network.
Of course I will. We focus on strengthening a relationship between local farmers, local Carteret farmers, and local Carteret consumers. We try to educate the public on the need for shopping from local farmers. They get fresher. They get to talk with the farmers and find out what farming practices they employ. And they keep the farmers in business. Very, very important.
You know, there's another aspect of this, and we've talked about this in the past as well, you and I, and also Sean and I on separate occasions. And there's the nutritional value of local product, is there not?
We believe there is. I'm not able to comment specifically on that, but we believe that harvesting and eating vegetables soon after they're harvested does allow the consumer to enjoy greater nutritional value. But personally, I'm not a scientist. I can't really make that claim definitively.
Yeah, as soon as the plants are harvested, they start to break down some of the flavors and the nutrients that are in the plants. So the sooner you can eat them, the more nutritious they will be. So if they have to be shipped from Brazil or Argentina or California, they're going to lose some of that nutrition as they're being shipped across the states.
And in the process, they're being handled, and I mean in the sense they're being gassed. They're being, pardon me, I use that, but they use a variety of products to maintain shelf life for these highly what's the word I'm looking for? Consumable,
yes.
That begin to break down shortly after they're harvested or processed. So the 10% campaign, and I intentionally brought in Catherine in this conversation because of the work that you do, Catherine, in the sense of, again, connecting the consumers with the producers, and also the work you're doing at the various produce stands. You're promoting that. And we've got to bring in the Veggie-mobile.
Yes, we have a bright red veggie bus that buys from local farmers. And we have a set schedule of a dozen locations each week. We drive around. We try to focus on low-income neighborhoods, possibly, or elderly neighborhoods where people aren't driving. So, but anybody can buy from the bus, and everyone does. They find us. Our schedule is on the website, carteretlocalfoodnetwork.org. And so find us on the bus, and you'll find produce that's been picked within hours sometimes of when it's on the bus.
Okay.
Really delicious.
Real quick question on that, Catherine. Again, Catherine Elkins with the Carteret County Local Food Network, an organization that's, well, how long has it been in business? How long have you been?
15 years now.
I have only known you for a year and a half now. It feels a lot longer. All right. But the other aspect of the I call it the Veggie-mobile, if you're looking for vegetables and you find a location where it's going to be stopping in the time and so forth, is there a need to have a sort of a pre-register for some items, or is it a matter of catchers catch can?
No, you'll probably get a very wide variety.
Okay.
Even better, though, we would love to find that people say, that corn is delicious, or I need more peas. We'll be happy to say, go buy those peas at Garner's, or get that corn, the same one you just had there. They have bushels of it at Willis's.
Right.
We have about a dozen really good small farm producers. We're not talking the open ground size of farm.
Right.
These are people delivering. They often will deliver to the Old Beaufort Farmers Market, or the market at Cedar Point, or from their own farm stand. But we also supply them on the bus.
Okay. Catherine and Sean Banks, of course, with the Carteret County Cooperative Extension Agency here. He's in the studio. Catherine's joining us by phone. One of the things I think that's important here, and I'm going to ask your observations on this. I'm going to start with you, Sean. The work that, of course, the Carteret Local Food Network is doing, and there are other programs across the state and local communities promoting this. Do you see that this is having a positive impact in the sense that there's a greater transaction activity for the farmers and the consumers, that they're becoming more aware of the accessibility of fresh produce and fresh seafood, etc.?
Well, I can't speak for all the people that see the veggie van out there going around, but I know I've noticed it in 2 or 3 different locations, so it makes me more aware of the local produce that's out there and available.
But I'm wondering, are you hearing anything from the farmers that their business has been growing?
Every farmer that I've talked to has said that every outlet that they can find really helps to boost their bottom line. So yes, this would benefit them as well.
All right, now, Catherine, again with the Carteret County Local Food Network, you've been in this for 15 years. You shared with us a moment ago.
Right.
Have you seen a change, and also in your conversation with both the produce stands and the local farmers? Is there a growing awareness out there?
We do see, and we can measure that. We're buying upwards of $50,000 extra each year from the farmers. Some of our farmers have, even opened new fields to meet our demand. Glenn Howell has just expanded his farm and bought a new tractor. So we know that the extra money is getting into the pockets of the farmers where we want it to be.
It's not only the money going to the farmers, it's also money that's being turned over in the county, because these farmers are buying product from local farm services, and you mentioned a tractor, for example, things of this nature. So it's keeping the economy moving. I think that's an important issue. And I'm going to go to this one, Sean, on the issue of the economy, the economic impact of farming. I know that you are working diligently directly with the farmers and I say farmers, but also with folks that are interested in gardening and things of this nature, which I want to touch on very briefly with you as well, Catherine, about small gardens participation in these farmers markets. But Sean, to you first, is the state sort of maintaining some sort of financial calculations and metrics on how agriculture is expanding in North Carolina, and does it have it down to the granular level of the county?
Probably not down to the granular level, but they do keep county numbers through the Farm Service Agency.
Okay.
They also have every 4 or 5 years they have a census of agriculture, so they take a census to see, are there more farms, are there fewer farms, is the farmland expanding or contracting, and that kind of thing. So they do keep up with that. And there is on the NCDA website a place where you can go and just track what's happened in that county over the last probably 4 or 5 years.
Okay, and again, that's Sean Banks with the Cooperative Agriculture Extension Agency in Carteret County. Catherine Elkins with us with the Carteret County Local Food Network. And before we wrap it up with you, Catherine, obviously we're talking about farmers, folks that have made a profession of farming. As you mentioned a moment ago, these are come under the category, I would describe them, Sean, as small farmers, not large corporate farmers, but family farms, if you will. But Catherine, what about these? We mentioned the food markets. For example, the food market in Beaufort, and you've got one down east. You've got the produce stand in Morehead City, the oldest one in the state, if I'm not mistaken.
It's either the first or second oldest one.
I think it's the. We're gonna lay claim to the oldest.
Yeah, we'll
okay?
claim that. Yes.
All right. My question to you, Catherine, is: are you hearing from individuals? Families who
we do hear from individuals that they're enjoying the increased production and therefore their of these, and that NC 10% campaign is a good way to measure that, and it's a good reminder. I participate too, and it reminds to count the produce I grow in my backyard,
right.
Count the fish that I've bought at my local market,
Mm-hmm.
and buy from the CSA bags.
Right.
So all of that gets counted weekly or monthly, I can't remember now, in the NC 10% campaign. And so it's a prompt that reminds you it's important to purchase from locals. That local economy is strengthened when we purchase from, our neighbors.
Right.
Go to the tire store and they just go locally. They pay for a local dentist.
Right.
The money stays in Carteret County.
And in the process, we're improving, and I'm sincere about this, the nutritional value of the product as well. Catherine, I know that you've got things to do. I want to thank you for your time. Catherine Elkins with the Carteret County Local Food Network with us today. And I think this is an important story. So the 10% campaign, it's underway right now. And Sean, if people want to participate in it, how do they do it?
They can go to NC10%, and you can spell out percent. .org, and there's a sign up link right there on that front page.
Okay, and Catherine, I'm going to ask, but I think I know the answer. I'm assuming you've signed up for the 10% campaign.
I have. I've been on it for about 10 years.
Wow. All right, Catherine Elkins with us. Catherine, thank you very much for your time. We appreciate it. Have a great day. That's Coastal Gardener here on the Talk Station, FM 107.1, and we've got Sean Banks with us. We just said goodbye to Catherine Elkins of the Carteret Local Food Network. I really appreciate her time and the work that she's been doing in the area of promoting local produce. And I want to just go back to something here real quickly I touched on. This is an opportunity with the 10% campaign, Sean, for folks to who have backyard gardens,
Mm-hmm.
and they can earn a little extra money. And I've had folks tell me, unlike me, their potato plants have been particularly productive this year. And I would like to see, maybe somebody can send me a productive tomato plant. But anyhow, this is an opportunity for them. They can either give them away to their neighbors, which many of them do, or they can go to these produce stands and sell them as well.
With some of the produce stands that allow you to come and sell it at the local produce stands, I know the Morehead City Curb Market used to allow people that have, and I'm not that familiar with it now as I was when I first started here 7 years ago, but they used to allow people with just extra produce that was produced in their backyard to be able to go set up for a small fee and sell what they had there at the curb market. So that might be an option. I'm not familiar with the rules at the Cedar Point Market or at the Beaufort Market, but I know they used to be able to do that at the curb market.
Well, to sort of conclude that part of the conversation, what a great opportunity. And the other aspect of it is you're getting product in their season, not hothouse. And it's interesting. I'll pick on something like blueberries or blackberries that are raised in hothouses in different areas of the world. I'll tell you, there is a significant difference in taste when it comes right off the plant at a local farm than if it came from California or Florida.
Well, if you pick it local, for example, if you get the blueberries from Craven County and they ship them to Carteret County, that only takes a couple hours, and you can go ahead and pick them the day before, ship them overnight, and then you get them fresh right off, and you can get them picked ripe instead of picked green and shipped and let ripen in shipping. So you get more sugars in there, so you get a better flavor.
Oh, no question. All right, we're talking with, again, Sean Banks with the Cooperative Agriculture Extension Agency in their Carteret County. And by the way, you have one in every county of North Carolina. So if you're visiting the area and you're hearing this program and you're wondering, well, do we have one? Yes, you do. I'm willing to bank on that. All right. Speaking of bank, that's Sean Banks' last name. I'm willing to bank. All right, Sean, I've got a question for you, but you've got some items for us. Let me go with you first.
Well, the other thing I wanted to talk about today, other than the 10% campaign, is that I sat in on a webinar promoting this Great Southeast Pollinator Census. And that's going to take place August 18th and 19th. So it's not happening right now.
Wait a second. So I got to go out and count those bees and wasps?
Yes, and butterflies and beetles and
okay,
and
I don't
all
mind
kinds
that.
of fun stuff.
The bees and the wasps, I have a little conflict with. I got to walk up and say, okay, can I have your name and address? And what do I do?
No, what they're doing is they have a sheet that you will list the different things that you're counting, and they'll have honeybees, they'll have bumblebees, and they'll have carpenter bees. They'll also have butterflies and moths, as well as wasps and other insects that might come.
Yeah.
But you don't have to identify every insect as far as directly to the species, but it's fairly easy to tell what a honeybee looks like and what a carpenter bee looks like. And so those big bees, they're asking you to count those ones as that kind of specific, but you don't have to count every different kind of wasp. But every wasp counts as a wasp, not as a paper wasp and a tachinid wasp and all those different kinds of wasps. So you would count all the wasps as a wasp. And so what you're going to do is you're going to count for 15 minutes, either on the 18th or the 19th, or if you're really ambitious and you want to count 2 or 3 times, you can do that.
18th or 19th of what month?
Of August.
August. Okay, we've got time. We'll be talking about this again.
There is plenty of time to sign up, and there's a lot of information out there on how to do this. And pretty much what you'll do is you'll pick a pollinator plant or a pollinator flower if you just want to do a sunflower, and go and sit by it and count all the different insects that come and land on that flower to help pollinate it.
Okay, why August and why not right now, April, May, and June?
They had to set a specific date so that everybody would be counting at the same time.
Well, I understand that.
And so they picked August so that they could promote it all through the summer and then get everybody to count on those 2 days in August.
Because most of the flowers are now, are they not?
Oh, no, there are a lot of flowers in the fall that are pollinator flowers, and there are a lot of flowers like some of the yarrow and some of the other flowers that have smaller flowers, goldenrod, and those things will be flowering a little bit later. So there'll be plenty of flowers in the fall. It'll just be a matter of finding those that are blooming at that time and sit down and count.
Okay, and that's happening in August.
And that'll happen August 18th and 19th. If you would like to sign up, you can go to the Great Southeast Pollinator Census website. And let me just give you an abbreviation on that. It's GSEPC.org.
Wow. I like just saying the greater, what is it again?
Great Southeast Pollinator Census. If you Google that, you'll be able to find it as well.
We said pollinator center. All right. Was it more than one state?
Yes, it's actually, it started in Georgia about 8 or 10 years ago. And so they've been counting every year for 8 or 10 years. South Carolina joined last year. We're joining this year. And next year, Florida will join.
Okay. And my first question is, who was the first one? Was Georgia?
Georgia.
Have they noticed an increase or a decrease in pollinators? Do you know?
They have a website that has all that data on there.
Okay.
And it depends on which year and which insect. Then the numbers tend to go up and down on the different insects. Overall, they're noticing a slight decline in overall pollinators. But that could also be partly because over time they've noticed fewer and fewer people out counting.
All right, that's the other aspect of it. But the pollinators are important. We've talked about that many times before. As a matter of fact, gardeners, backyard gardeners, need to create an area where they can they generate pollinators. Am I correct?
Right. And putting out those pollinator plants, the flowers that bring the pollinators in, will bring those pollinators to the vegetable crops so you can get more of those vegetables.
All right. Again, we're talking with Sean Banks, Carteret County Cooperative Agriculture Extension Agency. Sean, this actually leads to my next question. In light of the fact that we're dealing with the smoke from the fires in Canada, and I know that it's probably not severe for us here in coastal North Carolina because we have the sea breeze for the most of the part. It's probably keeping it away from us. But I'm wondering, when you have forest fires, when you have high amount of smoke in the air, does that in any way impinge on yards and shrubbery and trees? I mean, grow in this growth season?
Well, the plants do require the carbon monoxide in order to be able to produce the oxygen that we need and the sugars that they need. So it will affect it somewhat.
Okay.
And the more smoggy it is, the less intense the light's going to be. So it's going to slow down that photosynthesis process.
Okay. I was wondering if it was going to in some way slow the growth process down. All right. And that was my big question for the day because of the forest fires in Canada, which is creating quite a problem in the Northeast.
Right. The more smog that there is in the air, the more particulates that are in the air from the forest fires, the more it's going to slow down the plants, and they won't be able to do the photosynthesis thing that they need to do.
You mentioned the particulates in the air. Of course, some of it falling on trees and things of this nature and shrubbery. Is there any concern about washing it off? It's a natural. These plants have survived worse, I'm sure.
It takes a whole lot on the leaf of the plant. So if you're in an area where there's a lot of volcanic ash or a lot of fire ash,
well, hopefully we have no volcanic ash.
Yeah, I hope so too. But if you're in an area where there's a lot of ash to where it's actually piling up and you can see it piling up on the plant, then yes, it's going to be a problem until we get a rain or a good strong wind to blow that off. But for the most part, you're going to get a very thin layer that's not going to do as much damage to the plant as a thick layer would.
All right. We're coming close to the end. Anything special happening?
I don't have anything super special that's going on right now that I know of, but we do have the farmers markets out there. And so if you're wanting to eat local, that's a good way of getting out there and getting some of that local produce and enjoy it.
If you live in a large metropolitan community, you after a while you would be very jealous of what we have for us here. And I mean, just compare us to, let's take a metropolitan area like Raleigh. I mean, honestly, and the cost of getting the product to the streets in Raleigh, whereas you drive right by some of these farms, have their stands right out there in front of the farms. Fishermen, same thing. And you can go to the fish houses, either the commercial fish houses or right where the fish are landed. Or heck, you can go over to the beach, stand by out there with a sign saying, "We'll take your bluefish."
Yeah, there's just about any road that you drive down here in Carteret County, as far as the main thoroughfares, you've got a farm stand somewhere on that road, and easy to find a local farmer and get local produce.
I want to thank our earlier guest, Catherine Elkins, with the Carteret County Local Food Network, and go to that website, Carteret County Local Food Network. It's very easy to remember. And Sean Banks with Carteret County Cooperative Agriculture Extension Agency. I got to get to the cooperative in there.
It's coming.
He's not. Well, he doesn't cooperate with me. Yes, you do. You cooperate with me. I do appreciate it much. With that, it's Coastal Gardener on the Talk Station FM 107.1.